Hello guys, my name is Anna and I'm from Ukraine, and I vlog daily to keep you updated on the real life in my country during this awful war with Russia. And I always want my vlogs to be true, emotional and subjective, as actually vlogs must be. Those of you who follow my channel for some time already know that I live in a semi-safe zone, not in Kyiv, but in the western part of Ukraine, in Volyn region, and we border two countries. One, Poland in the European Union, which is good, and the second one is Belarus, which is in Russian Union, and that is bad. This is the country that I have visited when I was back at the university. My impressions are mixed, but in general I have more optimism towards Belarus society. If you notice, I don't even say Belarusian, because I want to stress that they are not Russian Belarusian, but they are Belarus people. And that is a slight difference, because Rus is not Russia. We have to remember, Kyiv Rus is not Russia. That is a totally different story and a totally different history, despite the fact that Russia tries to steal all of that. So I do not believe that Belarus army will attack us directly. I am confident that this country is already a part of this war, because Lukashenko gave his territory, gave his equipment into total responsibility and usage of Russian troops and Russian armed forces. So to some extent, we may say that what happened to Belarus was actually planned for Ukraine. This slow, silent occupation without war, but swallowing country, its independence, its political decisions, its financial decisions, and thus receiving a new kind of Belarus in the format of Ukraine. But Ukraine is a totally different country with an inborn need for freedom, and they failed this plan, and that's why they stuck in this war. That is also a problem for Putin, I'm convinced. So actually, we had all the chances to lose Lukashenko in 2020, if I'm not mistaken, because he lost the elections. It goes without saying that when a dictator is chosen for 27, 28 years, it is not a president, it is a self-proclaimed president or a person who totally captured the power and dictates what he wants. So I don't believe in the results of the Belarus elections. Also, I understand that they are organized the way that even if you vote, you won't receive what you actually voted for. So I was very much optimistic when the people started protesting and supporting changes, and I believed something will happen. But after funny photos of Lukashenko with his son wearing bulletproof vests, I thought they will escape, just as Yanukovych did. But no, they stayed with help of Russia, with lack of, I don't know, anger or bravery among civil activists. But somehow this revolution, silent revolution, did not bring any results. And now we see that when we forgive such things and self-proclaimed dictator stays on the position of the president of Belarus, we receive additional problems. So every evil, every mistake must be punished in international and national politics. That's important, because the world closed its eyes on the actions of Lukashenko and Putin, who supported him, and now we have plus one more country which can be used as a platform for the World War III. And Putin actively uses Belarus territory. They have attacked us from this territory numerous times. The attack on Kyiv, Chernihiv, all started from Belarus. So Belarus is an active part of this war. It's just like not that openly, without identification marks and active service of Belarus soldiers. But in general, for me, Belarus is a part of war. But in his recent interview, Lukashenko said that he is ready to attack Ukraine as soon as any sign of provocation will be visible from our side. We all know that Ukraine is a peaceful country that just wants its territories back, rebuilt, and Putin hang. But the thing is that Russians are really good at provoking or pretending. They are masters of various terror acts that they can organize even inside their country. And for all these years, we were constantly afraid they will organize something inside of Russia and blame Ukrainians. Or if they need any kind of provocation, they start speaking about it and then they do it themselves, blaming others. This is a very typical Russian behavior. So if they will need any provocation, any missile flying from like Ukraine to Belarus, they will pretend it happened and start acting, because they have their own reality in which they live and they constantly create it with the help of censorship and propaganda. They make people live in that world that goes contrary to the reality. And to prove that, we have to look at the rest of the Lukashenko's interview, where he speaks about like this war is important and needed for Ukraine and for West, and Ukraine and West provoked this war, of course, not Putin, not Lukashenko, because that's the way we earn money, and that now West and Ukraine do everything to make Belarus participate in the war. We provoke them constantly because we want longer front, and together with the borders of Belarus, it will be a really long front, and as a result, Russian troops and Belarus troops will be distracted. Anyway, if you're first time to my channel and you like information like that, subjective and honest and sometimes emotional, do subscribe to my videos, because I believe the world lacks Ukrainian YouTubers. What is also interesting, Lukashenko threatened that he has a huge army. It's not true. And that when he joins this war, it will change its character and become even more violent. Well, I cannot imagine what can Belarus army do after witnessing crimes of Bucha, Irpin, Borodyanka, Izum, and other Mariupol and other cities that were under Russian occupation, at least for a little period of time. Also in that interview to state TV channel, of course, I guess they have mainly state TV channels or state obedient TV channels in Belarus, he also said that this threats that if something happens to Belarus, if someone attacks its borders, and he will react. And it's not only about Ukraine, it's about any other country. So guys, if you plan to attack Belarus, don't do that, because Lukashenko will answer. I don't know, how come they, like people of Belarus, don't see that they are already occupied, but not from the West, but from the East, from Russia. I once again imagine how different this life would be if Tikhanovskaya or anybody else was a president of Belarus now. That's why it's so important to finish all the healthy revolutions, to change all the bad politicians, to attract attention of the world and to demand actions, because that would be a totally different story. It would be very difficult for them, for example, to attack Kyiv, Chernihiv. They wouldn't have territories of Belarus to launch missiles, to hide their planes, fighter jets, and so on. But by accepting this fact that, okay, they have falsified these elections, he will stay president for the next 20 years or whatever, as long as he wants. But then, no, there is no then, because we have war, and this war is a result of many moments that we missed and we did not react. And also, I did like one question that Tikhanovskaya recently posted. I'm not a fan of her, but definitely she's like always better than Lukashenko. And she was asking Belarus people, do they have a plan? And that would be really good if they had a plan. What will happen if they will be mobilized, if their men and women will be sent as soldiers to Ukraine? How do they plan to react? And in general, that is a problem. And what is funny, at the end, Lukashenko invited Biden to come to Belarus, because we know there is a state-planned visit to Poland on the 20th and 22nd of February. Maybe Biden will meet our President Zelensky in Poland and they will speak, but Lukashenko said that he's ready to send Boeing, and Biden will be satisfied, and Putin will come to Minsk, and together three of them will save the world. But he's sure that Biden will not accept this invitation, and somehow I agree with Lukashenko here. Actually, all these Minsk agreements that sometimes appear in media, this is total... I'm a girl and I shouldn't say bad words, so imagine that bad word that you can substitute my pause with. So Minsk agreements were never followed by Russia, and even their top politicians Surkov and Peskov, they often say that Minsk agreements were designed to control and restrain Ukraine. So there is no need to come to Minsk and to talk to two old last dictators of Europe, I hope. One day we will witness their trial, maybe in Mariupol or elsewhere, and I am even ready to watch their execution, because like we have recorded a new Soviet-Russian crime, and witnessing all that Russians do, remembering photos from Bucha, Olenivka, Irpin, Mariupol, I feel extremely angry today. And also I did not sleep well this night, not only because I caught a cold, maybe you can hear that, but also because we had air raids at night, and they are always like more, you always feel more anxious at night because it's night and you don't know what are you supposed to do. And they have targeted 36 missiles. 16 were stopped by air defense, and some objects were destroyed and so on. So it lasted for 2 hours or something, from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. So this is a typical org behavior. But in general, we are staying strong, and we feel that this year, this spring and this summer must demonstrate us that we are coming closer to victory. That's why we still need your support, your attention. Don't let war fatigue let Putin win. We have to be mobilized emotionally, financially, and of course militarily. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons. I will get myself some warm tea with lemon today. That's my favorite drink perhaps. And Slava Ukraini!